Well, hello, welcome to another episode of our live stream, the international training that we are doing here at the Nichols Center. I'm so excited to be here with you today. So my name is Nichols. If you have been following along, we meet every Friday. We try to meet every Friday. Sometimes life gets in the way, but we meet every Friday to talk about concepts around mental health, around clinical work, about building yourself up as a person, building up your private practice, expanding the awareness and the knowledge about mental health. And I'm so excited to be with you today. It's a little later than I normally log on, but my goal is to share a little bit of life with you, a few of the lessons that I've learned as being a therapist, and I'm just really grateful to hold space with you here on this live stream. So we share a lot of concepts on this podcast with our friends in Uganda. And I know it's very late in Uganda right now. Most of our partners there are asleep, but I wasn't able to get on earlier. And I still wanted to share with you this lesson. So coming on today, it's about, it's almost 5 o'clock here in Georgia. But I just wanted to connect with you, and I've been planning this great lesson, been looking forward to it all day, on self-esteem. And so if you are finding us for the first time, you definitely want to subscribe and follow along. We try, like I said, to go on every Friday. But if this is something you've been following and watching the replay of, I'm very grateful that you're joining us on this journey. Podcasting, sharing information, videos, it's a lot. It's you have to be very intentional to not allow life to get in the way of this time. And so I'm always so grateful whenever I can come on and visit with you. So I just filled up my coffee. I know I'm a all day long coffee drinker, so I just filled up my coffee. I hope you have a nice cup of something to enjoy, maybe a little snack or something, and we're going to dig in on this lesson on self-esteem. Now, I love talking about self-esteem because we all want to feel good internally. We all want to feel good about ourselves. We all want to have a strong sense of who we are. And earlier today, when I was meeting with our clinical collaborative, we talked about identity and how do you select your identity, how do you create your identity, and then how do you protect your identity through your boundaries and the type of person you want to be as a clinician and as a human. So, and I will go into lessons on that in the future here on this live stream with you, but today I already had this great lesson on self-esteem, and I just wanted to share a little bit with you. So let's dive in, okay? All right, coffee first though. So what is self-esteem? A lot of people say that they want to build confidence, and confidence is something that we all want to portray, right? We want to have a confident sense in who we are, and that comes from having an understanding and self-awareness, but it also comes from taking responsibility to invest in yourself and to understand the value of who you are and what you can bring to the world. Confidence comes from really building yourself up as a person. Self-esteem is actually an idea that's broken down into your identity, your efficacy, and your esteem. Now, we use that term very broadly to kind of, say that whole piece, but the reality is self-esteem is a lot more complex than just feeling good about yourself, or thinking positive thoughts. Self-esteem is the concept of having a clear understanding about the values that you have within you and how you can bring those values forward into the world. So I have this little worksheet, and I've learned how to share these worksheets online, so I'm going to show that to you if I can. Let's see, transition, there you go. All right, so you should be looking right now at one of the worksheets from our Grow Again curriculum. And this kind of shows you if that circle represents your whole sense of self-esteem, right? Your whole sense of self-value of who you are. 50% of that is who you are as a unique, created being, and your efficacy of what you can do, right? Who you are and what you can, okay? Now remember, you are not just what you do, okay? So a lot of times when we say, okay, so what is your identity? Well, people will name jobs or positions that they have. They'll name roles of who they are in the world. They'll say, well, I'm a mom, or I'm a brother, or I'm, I don't know, a manager or an engineer, or me, I'm a therapist. But that isn't who we are, that's what we do. And a lot of people will confuse the two, they'll conflate the two. They'll say, well, I am the things that I do, and so therefore I do a lot of things in order to justify my existence in the world. And you might have that in some of your relationships. You might say, okay, well, my family really needs me because, well, I do all the cleaning, I do all the cooking, I provide all the meals, I work very hard, I pay for everything that they need. I'm a provider, I'm a protector, I'm a server, I support. And they'll list the jobs that they do and the relationships that they have. And that's not about being a human being, that's about being a human doing. Those are the things that you do. And many people will focus on what they do in their relationships because they believe that that makes them more invaluable to the relationships. It actually serves as a protection for them from being abandoned or disconnected or left or rejected, right? So many times when people negotiate their sense of worth and their sense of value from their relationships, they will focus on the things they do for others. Now, that's not worth and self-esteem. That's something we call efficacy. Efficacy is the ability and the willpower to apply your value in action. It's the things you can do, right? Now remember, in our little image, we've got who you are and what you can do. So, your efficacy is what you can do. Your esteem is the feeling of positive regard that you have for yourself. You esteem yourself. Now, it's very important to understand both the difference of efficacy versus esteem, but also how they're related. Because to be esteemable, you must do esteemable things. You must have esteem in what you do and also in who you are. And you can't be a person who values who you are if you live a life that's rooted in negative or harmful behaviors, right? Because the value of who you are is damaged by the reputation of the harm that you bring. So it's important to have a balance between how you feel about yourself, what you believe about yourself, the positive regard you hold for yourself, and the effort you put into the actions and the behaviors that you have. Now, they are both connected and they're separate. Esteem is the positive regard and the value that you hold just from your existence. It's very important that you understand that you, as an existing person in this world, as a person both capable of doing great things and a person that lives and breathes and maintains a soul, that person has value just in the existence of who you are in this world. You were created for this world, for these relationships, and from the moment that you're born until the last time you breathe, your existence on this world is valuable. And believing positive things about the person you were created to be is what esteem is. And believing certain messages about yourself, positive messages that are based in facts and backed up through efficacy. Now, esteem can be damaged, and we know this, especially if you've ever lived in a relationship where maybe you were not esteemed and the people around you didn't have positive messages about themselves, and therefore they shared negative and damaging messages to you, at you, about you. And when you're surrounded by people who don't hold positive regard for themselves, or don't hold positive regards for human beings, other lives, other souls, and they share that negativity so freely often with their broken, sometimes downright ugly messaging, that can create very negative self-images, right? That can damage your sense of self-worth and your sense of self-esteem, especially when you're young, right? If the people in your life who should love you don't know what love is and don't know how to demonstrate love, well, that can really damage your sense of self-worth, just in the fact that you live and are breathing and are created. You can believe that if the people that should love you can't, that maybe you're not worthy of that love. You can actually start believing that if you listen to those messages, especially when you're young and vulnerable and looking and seeking for that love. That doesn't necessarily make it true. Sometimes we believe things and we listen to things, and down deep, if we were really honest, we would say the things that we believe, they're not actually true. So if you believe that other people have value just from their existence, then you also have value just from your existence. And that is a sense of esteem. That if you hold value and respect for others, if you believe that other people are created with special gifts and unique talent and love and opportunity and potential in this world, the same is true for you. You have innate value and worth just from being. As a human, your existence matters. If other people matter, so do you, okay? And so even if you don't necessarily believe that, it doesn't change whether it's true or not, right? You cannot believe that the sky is blue, but that doesn't change the color of the sky. You cannot believe something, or you can believe something, but that doesn't necessarily change the facts of what is in reality. Many people who struggle with having a strong sense of self-esteem overcompensate by having an even higher level of self-efficacy. And what we'll find is that people who struggle with feelings of rejection or abandonment, especially when they're young, they will overcompensate for that sense of damaged self-esteem by becoming an even more capable and self-reliant person. And they'll overemphasize their efficacy. They'll say, okay, well, I might not have value just by breathing, but that's okay because I'm going to do everything for everyone and for myself, and I will never rely on people who are going to reject me. And if my own parents or my own family or the people closest to me reject me, well, then I can't rely on anyone. So I'm going to learn to rely on myself. And they will guard their emotional vulnerability towards rejection by increasing their ability to perform. They base their worth on performance, on what they do for others. Now, that can be very useful in this world. We love people who do great work, right? And if you're a person and you put a lot of effort into what you do, this is not an attack on you saying you shouldn't do great work, because, hey, I too do a lot of things, and I really love new projects and new ideas, and being somewhat of a human doing, I really love doing stuff. That's exciting to me. But I have to be careful not to overemphasize what I do for the relationships that matter to me. And I can't change my worth or exchange my worth as a person for the value of the things that I do in the world. It's very important to keep those two ideas in balance. So let's look at this again. So looking at who you are, right? And how do you as a person in your existence have value? You are what? Fill in the blank. You are a smart, brave, kind, intelligent, creative, fill in the blank. Who are you? What is innately gifted in you that you were born with? Just your breathing on this earth matters because of how you were created. Take a few moments and think about those things. If you need to get a piece of paper and write them down, write them down. Who are you? What were you born with? What were the gifts that were given to you that bring value to those around you? Those are relationships that matter. Okay? And now let's go to the other side. What can you do? What have you learned to do? What do you share with others? What do you do for others? What can you? What is your abilities? If you took all that creative, wonderful, brilliant, intelligent, amazing, natural gifts and put them into action, what can you do? I can sing. I can dance. I can create. I can show support. I can provide. What can you do? And start thinking of those two things. Now, when you hold who you were created to be and how you apply that creativity, that sense of existence, that person that you are, when you put those two things together, that really truly gives you a sense of your identity. Who are you? You are both who you were born to be and how you apply that into the world. Do you use those gifts and talents to be a good mother or father? Do you use those gifts and talents to share with your community or to be a teacher or a mentor? Do you use those to, like me, be a therapist? Are you using those gifts for others? Or are you using those gifts even for yourself? Do you give yourself the same gift that you give others? Time to reflect, time to create, time to share with even yourself your own talents, your laughter, your joy, your singing, your comfort, your grace, your ministry. Do you minister to yourself by allowing yourself to enjoy the gift of being you? I like to tell adults, because a lot of times adults will say, I've lost myself. I've drifted, I've become too busy, I've been surrounded by work and expectations, and I don't know, I just feel lost. I feel like I don't know who I am anymore. Well, have you taken the time to meet yourself where you're at? When you wake up in the morning and you make your coffee, do you sit for just a few moments and reflect? Or do you immediately pick up your phone and look for what are the emails that I need to respond to? Who messaged me? Am I late? When do I need to leave? Can I sleep 3 more minutes? Now I'm talking to myself. 3 more minutes, just 3 more minutes. Are you always catching yourself coming and going because you're caught up in what you do for others? Are you taking the time to really sit with yourself? Remember, you were created for you. You were created for this world. You were created for your higher power. You were created to live. And if you spent your whole life just understanding the unique gift and incredible honor and blessing it is to be alive in this world, to be you, it would not be a life wasted. If you believe that God in His infinite intelligence created each person, and each person is uniquely remarkable and gifted and unique in their design. Would it be wasted to spend however much time you could just getting to know the gift it is to be you, the gift it is to live right now in this time in history with the people around us in this world, to connect with others? It is an incredible gift to just be you. So are you taking that time for yourself? Even if it's just 5 minutes, even if it's just a few more moments to sit in meditation and prayer. In the morning, I like to walk in my garden, and I find that every day my garden is a little bit different. Certain roses might be in bloom, or certain vegetables might be ready, and sometimes not. But it's okay, because every day is a unique experience. I feed my koi fish, and I talk to my chickens, and I pray, and I just have a few moments. And in those moments, my goal is to seek a sense of awareness of what am I doing to be my best self? How am I preserving and supporting myself so that whenever I step out into the world, when I start my big day, when I come out into the community to serve or help or teach or give, that there's something inside of me that's connected and grounded and rooted to a greater, deeper faith. Now, I don't know what your spirituality is, but it's important that you have a connection to a greater sense of faith and purpose in your life. And it is always my heart to do what I'm looking for as the highest good with what I have. If I have resources available, what is the highest good that I can do with those resources? If I have time, what is the greatest good I can do in that time? And I'm always looking to invest in that sense of value, of connection, of meaningfulness with who I am as a person. But before I go out into the world to share that with someone else, I need to make sure that it's actually internalized first, that I've given myself that time to know my own bandwidth, my own sense of grace, my own sense of care. And once I've made sure that part is filled, then with peace and equanimity, with balance and assurance and confidence, I can step out and say, okay, I both believe I have value, I both believe that I esteem myself enough. I esteem myself enough to give myself a little bit of extra time in prayer, extra time in peace. I esteem my own worth long enough to smell my favorite roses, to listen to my favorite songs, to drink a little bit of extra coffee, to prioritize what's important to me, which is my family and my art and my garden. And then from that place of connected esteem for who I am, then I can step into what I can do for others. And that also builds my confidence and strengthens my sense of self-worth. Because I know when I walk in my purpose and a strong sense of my identity, and I have these great core values that guide who I want to be in the world, the highest good, the value behind who I am, if I can bring that forward, then I can be confident in what I'm doing. I have both the plan and the wisdom to apply it. I really encourage you to take some time to think about what is the message that you feel about yourself. How do you feel about yourself? How do you esteem yourself? Do you hold yourself in regard? We say in regard because regard is when you take time to acknowledge something, right? You're giving it your regard. You're taking time to stand at attention and look at something. That's what regard actually is an exchange of attention. And when you hold yourself in enough regard, maybe not super high regard, right? We're not asking you to be a narcissist and go, oh my gosh, I think I'm the greatest thing ever, you know? You might not be the greatest thing ever, I don't know. You know, maybe you're great at some things, but you're not great at everything. So we're not asking you to go around pretending you're like, oh, you know, big old peacock here. But at least regard and pay attention to the things that are of value within you, that you know are important and gifts that you have. And they are unique, and they are special, and they are specific, right? They're specific to you. And they're cultivated and enriched from your life experiences, from your desires, from your knowledge. Now, when you take that regard and you add to it your heart for doing things for others, your heart for establishing a path towards the highest good, then you can build a strong sense of confidence. You can build a sense of self-worth. Usually when I'm in session, I don't have it with me today, but I usually ask if my clients have some money, right? Money's great. Usually everybody's got a little bit of cash, and I like to hold that. Let's say it's $20. I think last time I did it was 20 bucks. I like to hold that $20, and I'm like, okay, how much is this $20 worth? And of course, you know, they're like 20 bucks. And I'm like, well, what if I crumple it up? Well, they're like 20 bucks. Well, what if I throw it on the ground? What if I call it names? What if I don't know, yell and scream at it? Does it change the value? And of course the answer is no, it's still 20 bucks. $20 is $20, regardless of how you treat it. And the same is for you. You have value inside of you. You're gifted, created. And it doesn't matter how others treat you. In fact, how others treat you is about them. It's their behavior. It's their efficacy. It's their sense of not that. If that's the highest good they have to offer, that's not a good we want, right? It doesn't change who you are and who you decide to be and how you decide to offer the highest good. That is a personal decision. But I will tell you, it's harder and harder and harder to show up and do the highest good if you're not giving yourself the opportunity to hold yourself in good regard, to hold yourself in esteem, to spend time to even get to know the value and what is important and the gifts that you have and how you were created to be. So my encouragement for you this week is to take time to write down, who are you? Who are you really? Not what you do, not how you define yourself, not your relationships. But when you take all of that away, and it's just you alone in your garden or in your house or, I don't know, wherever you like to sit, drinking your coffee or tea or whatever. And ask yourself, who was I created to be? What gifts do I have? What things am I genuinely interested in? What special, unique personality traits? What quirks? What makes me different from others? Write it down. And then ask yourself, what's really important to me? What values do I have? What core beliefs am I holding? And if I was thinking about somebody that wasn't me, how would I think about them? Do I hold positive regard for others? Do I prioritize others? And if I can for others, why am I not doing that for myself? If I can make time for others, and I can sit with other people, and I can connect with them, why am I not allowing myself to do the same? What do I need to allow myself this chance to get to know the unique, wonderful person that I was created to be? And then, how can I bring that person and apply that to who I am and what I do? Apply that to my relationships with others. Apply those unique gifts, talents, responsibilities, personality traits, unique self. How can I bring that forward? And how can I apply that to who I choose to be in the world? The identities that I show up as, the roles that I play, the many hats that I wear. Can I bring that forward? I would be very interested to your thoughts, to what you thought about yourself and how you decide to show up, and the things that you take time to do for others, and how others see you. Maybe ask some people around you, how do you think I am as a person? What do I do best? What are gifts that you think I have? Sometimes it's easier to see others than it is to see ourselves. So maybe your friends might have some good concepts if it's a trusted friend. Now, don't just go asking anybody. Sometimes people will say some pretty random things to us and they won't be taking the exercise seriously. So, if you have a trusted relationship, a spouse or a parent or a close dear friend that would speak truth to your life, a safe person, ask them, what do you think my unique talents and gifts are? What can I do really well? And who do you think I am at the core of my being? Spend time getting to know that person. All right, that is your homework assignment. That is what I want you to do. And if you're able to, if you want to put some comments in or send me an email and share some of your thoughts, or connect with me on WhatsApp and share some of your thoughts, I would love to hear what are some of the things that you wrote down about yourself. And how do you plan to build on that? To create a sense of confidence, a sense of self-worth, and hold yourself in regard. Spend at least 5 extra minutes this week just to create that space for you and get to know yourself a little better. Remember, if this is your one and only life, and you spent your whole life just trying to understand the divine spark that's within you, the reason for your existence, it would not be a life wasted. All right, my friends, I want to leave you with a thought from one of our incredible cards. This is a card that was created by our incredible Miss Christian, and I love this. I love this toolkit. As you guys know, we're developing tools at the center. This is our deck of cards. This is for check-ins, for core values, for finding reflections, and for developing coping strategies. And your check-in card for this week is, what can you do today for yourself that will refill your cup? So, right in line with what we're talking about, what can you do that will refill your cup? So, I know I'm going to refill my cup of coffee. All right, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I look forward to this time with you. Thank you so much for joining us on this live stream. And if you like it, share it with somebody that you think would benefit from this lesson. All right, everyone, I hope you have an incredible, incredible weekend. I will talk to you soon. Bye.